While the internet argued about kilowatts and charging curves, Volkswagen did something almost nobody expected. It doubled down on a petrol hybrid SUV and made it look like the obvious move. The second generation T-Roc just bowed in Europe with fresh tech, bigger dimensions, and a launch lineup built around a 48-volt mild hybrid petrol engine. Pre-sales kicked off in Germany on the 28th of August with a starting price of 30,845 euros. And the message underneath is loud. The combustion era isn't done. It's evolving. Why swim against the EV tide? Because the tide isn't a straight line. Europe's rules say that by 2035, new cars must emit zero CO2, a de facto ban on traditional ICE sales. But zoom into 2025 and the picture blurs. Industry leaders are pushing Brussels to be more technology neutral, arguing hybrids are part of the decarbonization journey. Even the heads of major brands warn that a one-track sprint risks backfiring if infrastructure and affordability lag. That policy tug-of-war is exactly the space where the new T-Roc lives. A petrol hybrid that hits emissions harder without asking buyers to rearrange their lives around plugs. T-Roc didn't come out of nowhere. The first generation landed back in 2017 and quietly climbed the European charts. It became the go-to compact SUV for people who wanted Golf-like manners with a taller stance and a badge that still meant German solidity. That sales gravity made one thing clear. When VW finally replaced it, the stakes would be high and the moves deliberate. This replacement is more than a facelift. Built on MQB Evo, the T-Roc grows by 122 millimeters to 4,000, 373 millimeters long, stretches its wheelbase by 28 millimeters, and slips through the air with a CD of 0.29, a tidy 10% improvement over before. Inside, the tech takes a jump. A newly designed cockpit, a central screen up to 13 inches, and a lounge-like lighting setup that finally makes the cabin feel as modern as the badge promised. On the driver assist side, it borrows from pricier Volkswagens. Travel Assist now supports assisted lane changes, and Park Assist Pro lets the car memorize tricky spaces, then park itself while you supervise from your phone. That's the kind of top-down technology that makes an everyday SUV feel future-proof. Under the skin is where the contrarian story gets interesting. At launch, you pick between two 1.5-liter ETSI mild hybrid petrol engines, 116 or 150 horsepower each, paired to a 7-speed DSG and front-wheel drive. The 48-volt system isn't a marketing sticker. It brings a clean to 14 kilowatts electric boost and 56 nanometers of torque to help the engine glide off the line, coast with the engine off, and save roughly 0.5 liters divided by 100 kilometers, depending on conditions. The 1.5 TSI unit is VW's Evo 2 spec, a nerdy cocktail of Miller cycle combustion, a variable geometry turbo, and ACT plus cylinder deactivation that shuts down 2 cylinders during light loads without you feeling the switch. 2 full hybrids are queued up next, and later a 2.0-liter TSI mild hybrid with 4 motion returns for buyers who want the extra shove and traction. What does that mean when your hands are on the wheel? It means the familiar VW.com, just less waste. In town, the engine rests more often, the DSG keeps things seamless, and the mild hybrid fill of torque makes short hops effortless. On the highway, the long-legged feel remains. For commuters who can't rely on home charging, or for families who split holidays between cities and countryside, the proposition is simple. No planning, no queues, no range anxiety. Plug-in and full EVs are brilliant when the charging map works for you, but millions still want the 5-minute refuel and a car that sips without babysitting. And VW didn't ignore the want factor. The longer body gives it a planted stance. The front and rear get a sharper signature with IQ. Light matrix headlamps and 3D-style tail lamps, while aero elements around the arches and diffuser quietly trim drag. The cabin finally looks like it belongs in 2025, not 2018. Storage improves because the DSG selector moves to a steering column switch, freeing up the center console. Small quality of life wins add up. Better materials, bigger screens, a calmer, quieter ride. These aren't headline words, but they're why people sign on dotted lines. Here's the curveball for trend watchers. VW is launching this car just as EV policy debates are getting louder, not quieter. Industry associations and CEOs are publicly warning that pushing only one technology can break buyer confidence and stall the market if costs and infrastructure don't catch up fast enough. In that climate, an efficient hybridized petrol SUV looks like hedging to some and smart portfolio management to others. The truth is, it's both. Where you can buy it says a lot about the strategy. Europe is the main stage. Pre-sales in Germany began the 28th of August with the 30,845 euros entry model, and broader market launches follow into November. Don't expect to see it in the US. Volkswagen has confirmed North America sits this one out, since the Taos covers the small crossover slot there. Meanwhile, in the UK, tabloids and sites have hinted this could be VW's last new petrol model for that market as the brand pivots to electrification. Treat that as a reported angle, not an official policy line. Either way, it adds drama and clicks. So who is the T-Roc actually for in 2025? For buyers who want premium feel without chasing a plug? For families who like the calm, predictable rhythm of petrol with fewer fill-ups? For urban drivers who still do weekend kilometers and can't bank on chargers being free when they arrive? It's also for people who care about residuals in a segment where VW's badge and sales record have historically held up. And yes, for the folks who want their next car to be more efficient without learning a new refueling habit. Price and value will be the decider. Starting at 30,845 euros in Germany for the 115 HP mild hybrid, the T-Roc is positioned as a premium mainstream choice. In markets where tax breaks and energy prices make EVs compelling, it'll face hard questions. In places where charging is patchy or costly, a refined hybridized petrol with low real-world thirst makes a lot of sense. VW's bet is that, right now, a lot of Europe still lives in those latter conditions. Zoom out, and the signal is clear. The T-Roc doesn't fight EVs, it buys time. It lets buyers decarbonize now with meaningful efficiency gains while the grid, prices, and policies settle. If you think 2035 is tomorrow, this looks conservative. If you think 2035 is a dozen product cycles away, it looks like chess. Final thought. Volkswagen just reminded the market that innovation isn't only about batteries. Sometimes it's about using the engine smarter, cutting waste, and making the whole experience calmer and cleaner without changing the ritual. Is that enough to win hearts when EV headlines dominate? That's your call. Drop your take below. If you were buying today, not in 2035, does this new T-Roc make more sense than an affordable EV? Or is the plug the only path you'd consider?